Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs, go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Chasing the Tide, your saltwater connection on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dustin. Tonight, we're going to have a good show. Got a good friend of mine, a good tournament nemesis. We'll be bringing him home later. But first, I want to go over a few things with everybody. I know we got some changes coming up here in Texas to our speckled trout fishery. TPWD did pass an emergency order that will go into effect on March 16th. It will change our trout limits and size limits. It'll be a 17 to 23 inch slot with a 3 fish limit, and that will be from Sargent south all the way down to the border. So yeah, we're gonna have some changes coming up with that. We just had some good stuff happen for on the boat scene side. We had the Saltwater Legend series come up and do catch and release way on board the boat, submitting videos. It's a pretty cool concept. I was glad to see them move forward with that and, help our trout fishery out. So I was pretty stoked on that. So moving along, we got some other stuff coming up. We got a Paddle and Fin Open coming up on Dale Hollow Lake on April the 2nd and 3rd, based out of Eastport Marina. It's going to be in conjunction with the Cumberland Kayak Trail and Central Tennessee Kayak Anglers. April 2nd, April 3rd. Check it out on TourneyX. It's already up. You can get registered on there and go check it out. I'm planning on making the trip over there and chase me some smallmouth. So looking forward to it. Also coming up in May, we have the Chasing the Tide, 3 Bells May Mixed Bag CPR tournament. It'll run the whole month of May. CPR event with 2 redfish, 3 trout aggregate. You'll have a side pot for the biggest trout and also a blackjack trout. Little gift bags and stuff from Texas Rattler Grande. Gadget's going to help out. Should have some stuff from Catch. Waterloo Rods, 3 Bells going to jump in with some gift cards and stuff. So it'll be a good deal. So that'll be open for the Gulf Coast all the way across up the Atlantic seaboard to where there's speckled trout and redfish. So everybody come on and join in. Let's have fun with that. A lot of stuff to give away. And then got some other stuff coming up on the radar with the Bayou Coast Kayak Fishing Club. We have a National Saltwater Kayak Series. It's going to be something similar to the IFA events that ran back in the day. It'll be 1 trout, 1 redfish CPR event, and it'll run like an 8 or 9 hour slot during the day on the weekend. And then there's going to be a few events, I think 3. There will be one for the Texas, Louisiana area. And then we'll have a championship that's going to coincide with their event, Fall and Tide, in October, it looks like. So there's some news right there for everybody. Looking forward to this tournament season starting. And let's kick it off, man. Let's bring my buddy Kevin Wheels on tonight. We're going to bring in Kevin right now. What is going on, brother?
Hey, Dustin. How are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just want some days off, man. This outage at work is kicking my rear, man.
You've been getting after it. I called to check in on you, see if you'd hit the water, man. You're going on, how many days straight of working now?
Well, no, I mean, 44. This is the 44th day of the outage, and I've had 2 days off during that time. And I fished after work a couple afternoons here and there just to get on the water and get some stress relief and kind of settle down.
I'm
rough, man.
I'm gonna follow you after your next payday and catch the change that falls out of your pocket, man.
Yeah, I'm probably leaving it running down the road, or I'm leaving it in my exhaust coming out of my truck. That gas price, man.
Yeah,
man.
You got that right.
I posted on, this week I'd actually tried something out. I'd started driving a little bit slower because I do have a left foot. So I started putting my cruise on in the morning, driving a little bit under the speed limit, slowing down, and it just, be surprised how many people just fly by you like in such a hurry. I'm like, man, I left about 5 minutes earlier, not much. I didn't have to wake up much earlier. Dude, I've gained like 136 miles per tank slowing down.
Makes a difference.
Like I'm going over 500 miles on the tank in that truck. It's a 4-cylinder turbo, but it's a big difference. It's like, man, that's like it's quite a few gallons of gas. That's over $16-17 a tank almost.
Yeah, it makes a difference, man. That adds up. And I know, I mean, you're like me, man. We travel a lot of them back roads, man.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep, for sure, man. Dude, well, I'm stoked to get you on here, man. We battled it out quite a bit last year on the PRL, the Redfish League Trail, the Saltwater Angler Series Trail.
We did, man.
Had a bunch of tournaments. Kayak Fishing Texas had their little deal. We had some good stuff last year, man. Some good times. Fished a couple times with you. You know,
yep.
Had some good times. But man, I want you introduce yourself to everybody, and then kind of give a quick backstory. You know, what got you into fishing, and then what led you into that plastic boat.
All right, man. So yeah, I'm Kevin Wills, and I'm gonna go down the same path a lot of your listeners probably have gone down, and some of your guests. You know, I grew up fishing. I grew up fishing with my dad. You know, a little bit more into that. You know, my dad was in the Army for 22 years. I grew up an Army brat. You know, so we traveled a lot. So from the time I was born in Fort Polk, Louisiana, man, we were on the road, living overseas, living pretty much in every city in Texas you can think of, man. But man, one thing that was a constant for us is he always took us fishing. You know, that no matter where we were at, where we lived, we drove down to the coast. We found a lake or a pond or a creek to fish from. You know, and you know, that was our pastime. He was a single parent, so a lot of, you know, what we did, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, so I think he did that so he could afford to get us out. And you know, looking back, man, it wasn't really fishing because we didn't really catch any fish. I think it was just more to get us out of the house, get us doing something, throw some sticks around, you know. And we had cane poles, and we were eating pimento cheese sandwiches, you know.
There you go.
But never, you know, slayed the fish, man. Maybe one or two catfish, but that's kind of where it all started, man. It's been embedded in my roots for me and my brothers and sisters. Like I said, we always had that as a part of our life. But you know, fast forward, you know, as an adult, you know, I had the opportunity and made the decision, you know, later in life to move to Corpus Christi from San Antonio, right there on the water, man. Some great water over there, some great ecosystem down there. And I lived there for 19 and a half, 20 years. And being that close to the water, I continued that fishing, man. I'd fish my tail off. I was a land walker though, right? So I was working all them piers, you know, bank fishing. I'd post up behind a seawall off Ocean Drive somewhere behind some resort and pitch into boat slips and fit, you know, just strictly land-based, you know. And man, something happened around 2000, you know, 2010, 2011. I remember in Flower Bluff, there was a little shop right there off of Flower Bluff. It's like a yellow building, and it was
Wind
like,
and Wave.
No, it was like Jerry B's Kayak.
I don't remember that one then. Yeah, I thought,
man, it was a bright building, and I just went in there one day. I just was checking it out, and I saw kayaks, man, and I was so clueless about kayak fishing. And you know, when I thought kayak, I thought it was like those little, you know, white river guys that run the little jelly bean shaped kayak that went under the water and flipped back up. That's what I thought kayaks were, you know. So I went in there and I saw my first sit on top kayak, man. This thing had rod holders on it, and I was like, and then the gears started turning, man. And I didn't buy anything that day. I was just checking it out. But you know, a few days later, I'm out fishing, you know, at Clem's Marina on the pier, you know, working the lights, getting my trout, and I just started thinking about that kayak, man. I was like, there's got to be more to it than that. And so got on Craigslist one day and pulled the trigger, man, and got me a $400 kayak from some fellow that was at a station at Naval Station in Naval Station in Corpus there, NAS, and he was heading back to the Carolinas and sold it to me for $400, man. And the rest is history, dude. I got on that thing, and the first time I pushed off and started paddling and got that thing tracking and everything, I was hooked, man. Ever since then, I've inhaled this sport, and it's just been like marinating in me through this whole time, man. I love it. I love it, you know.
It's addictive as all hell, man.
It is. It is for sure. It's different, man. It's different, you know. It's you know, you posted something the other day, you know, about on one of your social media pages. You put you know, catching fish or don't catch fish, or if you win a tournament or don't win a tournament, like you know, the victories of being fishing, being out on the
Yeah.
water, man, stopping and being
Time on the
present.
water.
Man, that's the reward every time. And man, I love it. It's just done so much for my life and allowed me to do things and see things and meet people. Right.
Yep.
I mean, you started out talking about us being competitors, man, and we go head to head against each other, man. But you and all those guys I fish against, man, you're so open and honest, and willing to help out, and inviting me out and let's go fishing, let's hang out. I love it, man. I love everything about the sport.
Yeah, that was what drew me in a lot, was the camaraderie and everything, and meeting everybody, just everybody from different walks of life. Just kind of like in the skateboard and surf community is the same way. Yeah. It's like family. Once you get in there, that's your family with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what's been real cool about it, meeting everybody. After the awards, might walk away with some raffles. You might win a little money here and there too. Good thing. But that's the thing. It can fall on anybody any given day. Yep. That's what's cool about it. You can be on the fisher or not. You're still going to gain that experience. You're still going to learn how to cover water and research spots and all that good stuff. That's what it's all about right there.
Absolutely.
Talking about that, you want to go and had a pretty good year last year. Give some insight on that. Recap it a little bit,
Yeah.
Just like a footnote, Cliff Notes versions without.
Yeah. So last year, man. So the year before, me and my partner, Justin Gertz, he's new to kayak fishing. He's a good friend of mine. Should look him up on Facebook. But Justin's good people, man. We the year before I got him in 2020, got him into the sport, and we decided we were going to team up, and it was just a journey for both of us, man. We were figuring things out, and we're both very attention detailed and going through, everything right through a fine-tooth comb, figuring out what we're going to do. And so last year we did the full season together last year, and last year was different, right? PRL's 2-day events.
Yeah.
2-day
There's
events.
a little bit of a like a game plan. You got to have something lined out. So.
It adds a few layers of strategy, right?
Because it's definitely some strategy involved.
Yeah, and so we were prepared, man, as best as we could be. Listen, I still consider ourselves newbies, man. We're tryhards. We definitely want to compete and try hard. We want to have a good time, but no, we just went into it, man, and it was 4 stops on the trail. And looking back, man, for us, right, because we hold all the competitors we compete against down here, man, in such high regard. I mean, they're the who's who of kayak angling. Competing against you and Mike and Chris Poco, Brandon, and all those guys, man, are just phenomenal anglers. And so, our whole goal was just, man, we just want to be in the conversation. You know what I mean? And so, stop 1, stop 2. You look at every single stop, man, and we were happy because we had 3 4th place finishes, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every single and then
right there too, like not even a half a pound out.
Man, we were ounces. Every single one of them, we were ounces for making the podium. In all of them, we were 2 pounds or less from being first. That's how competitive and close it was. So, so rather than like being frustrated and throwing our, eating our hat or anything like that, we celebrated it. We're like, man, this is, we're learning, right? We're more productive on the water, and if anything, we're consistent. And Justin and I watched the point standings all year, and when we realized, man, because everybody, I think, except for us, had one bad stop on that trail. Like it didn't work out, that they didn't, and
we were all in. Everybody was in the running. It was tight.
It was real tight. It was real tight. And Brandon and Alex, they won it last year, and those guys are solid, man.
Yeah.
And we were coming to the last event. We just needed to outpace them and look out for a couple of other guys. And but we ended up getting 3rd place, got team of the year. But it was fun. Probably some of the most memorable fishing for a season I've ever had. Me and Justin had some great memories. We learned a ton. But 2-day tournaments, man, are completely different than 1-day tournaments. I learned that, and I think everybody, ourselves included, if we could go back and change a couple things here and there, we probably would. And that's, I think, what we're going to take into this year. This year we're definitely going to look back at our notes, right, and those lessons we've learned for sure.
Yeah, because it goes to a 1-person event this year, and they're on a Sunday.
Yep.
And then there are some team events available through the Galveston Redfish series. The Fish Sticks, took that over.
Yep. Hunter and those guys out there. Yep. I'm
Hunter
excited about that one.
and that's going to be pretty cool too. The only thing about that one is you have to human powered.
Yep.
Pedal or paddle.
Leave the motors at home.
Leave the motors at home. And after the fact, he realized, man, I think I should have allowed motors too, because he had a lot of people ask him at the boat show, hey, you all gonna allow motors? Hey, motors.
Yeah.
So that's been a pretty big push over here. A lot of the trails and even a lot of the local like Facebook clubs are all allowing motors now.
Yep.
And it definitely aids in pre-fishing too beforehand, but also making long runs on tournament day and getting back. Just got to watch your fish if you're dragging them on a stringer. You need to have a live well if you want to run full blast.
Yeah. Whatever you're running, right? There's a strategy involved. Me and Justin don't run motors. This is actually today. I picked up my motor today. This is the first time I'm going to venture down the electric avenue. With the rest of you guys, but you just got to strategize and plan differently. For us, we knew that if we had a 6-mile trek to get to where we wanted to start fishing first, man, we're in the pitch black bay at 3 a.m. paddling. To get out there. That's what we all do.
That's what we're hardcore like that.
Yeah.
I see some tournaments sometimes and they're like, 6:45 launch and 7 lines in. I'm like, man, what in the world? I was like, man, give us like a 6 o'clock launch and a 6:30 lines in. You can see at 6:30.
Yep.
And it's better off to be. I'd rather be on the water early because there's normally a lot less boats like super running, and if they are running, it's the guides like hauling butt down a baffin down there.
Yeah.
They're running down the channel.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of the bass tournaments do that. They have a lot earlier launch where you can beat the boats to the ramp, and you don't have all the boats running down the ramp. And then, if you're kind of going commando style and just bridge launching or something, it's all good too. But that's the thing, man. That motor helps out a lot. You get your spots, run a little bit further back, and haul boogie back to the launch to get your fish in your live well and everything, get them ready to go.
Yep.
So it's definitely been a big plus, man, for sure. You're gonna enjoy it. Yeah,
I'm curious to see, man. I hope so. I may love it, I may hate it. I have no idea, but it's definitely. There's no doubt you got to change up your strategy, though. Like you said, you can't. Just because you got a motor doesn't mean I can go anywhere and everywhere, because I still got to get back, and I got to either have a live well on my kayak or get back slow enough where I keep those fish alive. So it's just different strategies and stuff. And I think that's the kind of the number one rule is have a strategy, and if you change anything, you're gonna have to change up some strategies and then adapt. And I think that's the key to success for any angler.
Yeah.
So
dang straight. So speaking of that, and kind of adding a motor and scouting and all that, give a little insight on maybe we can compare how you go about finding spots or picking spots to, just a generalized view, Google Earth or maps or something like that, or like I know there's some other stuff online. There's STX Maps that has some kayak launch stuff, Go Paddle app. There's a bunch of stuff out there for everybody. There's a lot of tools online for everybody to use. So what do you go? How do you look into things like that?
Yeah, we've come a long way from the big, huge map.
Hook and ladder, or the hook and line.
Yeah, those. We've come a long way. For me, it's different now that I don't live on the water. Living where I live, I use those apps. I use Google Earth like everybody else. Zoom Earth is a really good one, right? It gives you a different view, and sometimes different regions have different clarity, and I like using Zoom Earth as well. But I just kind of, and when I look at those areas, I'm just looking for anything that looks fishy, you know what I mean? And for tournament fishing, I'm looking for a spot that's got options, right? So if I see a little back lake area, I'm like, okay, so this looks fishy, right? I'm gonna zoom in on the map and I'm looking, okay, so if it's by the ICW, okay, well, that's another option, right? If they're not in the back lakes, they got an option over here to work these spoil islands by the ICW. And then if I can find a third option all within that same scenario and geography, and then find a place to launch. So I'll circle that spot. And that's kind of what I look for on the apps. And then when I get down there, to pre-fish for a tournament, I'll have a bunch of notes and things and kind of drop pins as to where I'm going to launch and figure it out. And then on scouting days, man, I just get out there and and that's kind of where you figure out the timing and see if the structure's there that you need and what if the wind's blowing this direction or this direction, what's it going to do? But the number one thing is I look for a place that has options, because as well as I do, tournament day, this is where we're going. You get there and there's nothing there. And if you picked a body of water, I'm going to work this back lake back here, and that's where the fish are going to be. If they're not back there and you have no other options except to continue fishing these back lakes in this little confined area, you really set yourself up for failure. So I just try to be strategic in that fact and give myself options and anticipate fish aren't going to be here or they're not going to be here. So have a second alternative or third alternative.
Yeah, second, third, definitely, because the weather you fish during pre-fishing, it's not going to be like that on tournament day.
Never. And when I pre-fish for last year for the PRL, I was luckily enough and fortunate enough that I was able to get down and I pre-fished 2 days before the 2-day event. So I hit multiple bodies of water, and kind of had the opportunity to kind of see and get some more insight. And I think that really helped us out a lot, is understanding where we were going to be and once again, launching in the middle of the night and paddling across that bay to get to our spot ready to roll, So.
Yep. And that's the thing, tournament day, you can fish clean. Those redfish are freaking brutes. You hook them, they like to get in the grass and shake their head. They'll do whatever they can to try to get that hook.
Oh yeah.
From their jowls. There's some mean ones too. So, fishing clean, have that that mindset going into it. You can't let stuff get to you, weather changes, getting caught in lightning storms. I mean, there's so much that can happen on the water and affect your day.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Man, so when you're out there on the water and you're scouting, you're doing all this stuff, drains are always good, some scattered shells, some structure, grass lines with wind, and all that. Well, what kind of techniques are you out there using? A rundown. When you're out there scouting, are you just burning water and burning moving baits really fast, or are you just kind of looking and kind of, or just both, all of that in one?
Yeah. So when I'm scouting and when Justin's with me, if I send him off one way and I go another, I'll bring maybe 2 poles with me, and I put search baits on them. I just put a search bait. I want something that's going to be, I'm looking for aggressive fish. I'm going to make some noise, and so my head's on a pivot and I'm looking at areas. If I see something, a depth change or something, or some really healthy grass, and kind of see some sand pockets, I'll mark it on my depth finder. But very, very little fishing. But if I see a spot that looks fishy and I like the way it looks, I may cast a search bait and see if I get a reaction. You know what I mean? If I see fish, if I'm in an area and I see fish and I'm getting big wakes and I'm seeing tails and stuff, I know they're back there. I leave them alone. There's no point.
I'm not gonna mess with them before the tournament.
Yeah, and especially if there's in these spots that I'm, I good little trek to get out there. I mean, they're gonna be left alone.
As long as you don't have like a super big tide swing pulling out, they should be in that general area, not too far away.
But I'm throwing things with blades on them. The erratic. You know what I mean? To just kind of to piss them off, right? And to get them to say, get out of my space. I'm gonna come eat you. But I rarely throw paddle tails and try to finesse or anything like that. I just want to know that they're in there and I back away.
I got a wake bait that I don't have hooks on, and I'll blind cast that around as I'm searching to see if I can pull anything off of isolated points or structure and stuff too. Just so I can see if they'll hit it. They'll let it go normally. So there's another little deal. Kind of comes from the bass side, because I do throw some hookless topwaters and stuff here and there, searching for bass. And
you're always dropping little tips here and there, man. That's one thing about you. I remember a couple of years back, at Ron's events at the Saltwater Angler Redfish Series, man. I'm at these events, man. I'm listening to all you guys and I'm taking everything you guys have to tell me. And you're always so willing and you share stuff, man. I thought I came across something with these chatterbaits, and you're saying, no, man, I throw those chatterbaits, boy. Cut the skirts off of them, I mean, there's I
There's a time
appreciate
and
that.
place for them for sure.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely. Yeah.
they don't see them a whole lot. I don't know how many other people out there are throwing them constantly for redfish, but yeah, something to put in their face that they haven't seen, just like the underspins. Not a lot of people throw underspins with a paddle tail or a fluke. There's some good stuff out there. Jerk baits.
Yeah, there's a
double D's. Man, a double D burning it. Ooh.
Yep.
And what's coming out now was a lot of people been throwing, including me. Glide baits. Big hand carved custom glide baits. I mean, it costs money, but you can find some decent ones. You know, 6 Cents makes a couple one that are decent. The S Waiver, Arashi makes a pretty good one that aren't too expensive. You know, all those. And then you can get some of send them to one of your, like, who is it? B&M Custom Lures or Adams Custom Baits or whoever, and send them to them and have them to paint them in like a bone with a pink throat, bone with an orange throat, some different colors. And you know, even if you buy a shad pattern, you can send them off and have somebody color them for you.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how long fishing has been around and all these lures and stuff, and we're still like the innovations still keep coming, right? And they still work, you know what I mean? And it's just, you would think at some point they would run out, or the fish have all figured all this stuff out. But man, you know, they're still going after them gold spoons. They're still going after you know, all these things, you know. So
the gold spoons just tried and true, and they will still slap. They'll rip the rod out your hand with things on the flats, man. I'll throw them in the marsh too. I'll throw them in the grass when the tide's super high and they're up in there in the salt grass, you know. I'll throw them in there on them too. My
very first redfish I ever caught, man. When I first started kayaking, I was terrible. I took everything I was doing from the bank and the pier and just transferred it over to the kayak. I had no strategy. I put a huge dent on the stingray and hardhead population back then in my early days of kayaking. You know, but that gold spoon, man, that was my very first
redfish
keeper red. It was 24. You know, and I to this day I remember exactly where I was. I could take you to that spot there in Packery Flats, and I mean? So
that's a lot of people pull off their training reels right there on Packery Flats. And as much pressure as that place gets, I've caught some solid trout on the flats right there.
Yeah, it's a good little.
Some of them bigger sand pockets hold some good flounder in the fall too. There you go. Anybody in the Corpus area listening, y'all know Packery Flats can get crowded, get some pressure.
Pro tip from Dustin.
Just check it out. You know, it does hold some fish. It replenishes well. Sure does. Especially since they opened up, you know, the cut there. Packery Channel. For sure. So, you know, some of these redfish events we're fishing, it's a live weigh-in. You know, you get an extra half pound for turning in live fish, or you get a deduction sometimes. It depends on which one it is. But you know, what I talked about at the beginning is these boat tournaments, this Saltwater Legends Series, this big trout event that goes on here. You know, actually did a CPR event where they actually had the weight, zeroed the weight, the scale, weighed the fish, and it locks in on that and holds it, and then they send the video in. While they video it, they send it in. It's actually pretty cool to see that, being that, you know, we got hit pretty hard with that freeze last year. So they wanted to do something a little better than beating them up in the live well all the way back to launch when they make an hour or 2 hour run sometimes. So I thought that was really cool, you know. And then, you know, being on a kayak, we also have, you know, from the bass side came about with the CPR with the, you know, measuring board and identifier and tournament management apps that we can do the CPR events too. But you know, the IFA kind of started that off back in the day. I know some other events in Florida came about, you know, and you take your camera card in or you turn your phone into them and get your 2 fish, you know, measured and this and that. But with the advancements of these apps to manage these tourneys and stuff, it's really cool. You know, it is great to bring fish to the weigh-in and, you know, bring them in alive, and you get to show them there. Oh man, you weigh in the fish, get your picture with the fish and everything. You know, I do like that aspect of it, but you know, sometimes the fish die. You know, there's some stress on the fish and all that. So a lot of people are moving towards these CPR events. A lot of clubs are. So yeah, I just kind of want to get your info on that, get your outlook or
Yeah, no, I agree with
opinion.
you, man. I agree 100%. You know what I mean? Like we gotta, I don't get me wrong. I keep fish, and I come home, I feed my families. I'm the guy that I'm not a hunter. I don't do hunting, so I trade my neighbors their venison for some redfish or flounder.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? But I have
And
just
that's within your rights as a licensed holder,
yep.
fish
And,
license holder to do that too. Yep.
we'll but I think there's responsibility. You know what I mean? And I think for us to continue to 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 fish and to have these trophy trout and things like that we're going after. You know what I mean? I think there's things that we can do. You know what I mean? I think if we have the ability, I mean, the way technology is these days, you know what I mean? But to be able to have the ability to video and all that stuff, let's do it, man. I'm all for it. There's a lot of people that, man, I love the sport so much. I want people to come in and try it out. And if there's something we can do to make people feel more comfortable, that there's no cheating going on, or there's anything like let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's clear the air. Let's make it as easy and as seamless as possible, where everybody's comfortable. You know what I mean? And while we're at the same time, being responsible anglers, tournament anglers.
Integrity's involved. There's been some incidences on the bass side. There's been some stuff on the saltwater side. We had some stuff last year that kind of went down. It kind of gave a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But hopefully stuff's lined out, and we get it.
Some of that bass
worked in the right direction. I mean, the bass guy's cut. Like
it's comical, man.
Cut a tail off and was putting a tail underneath his hand to extend it. All kind of stuff, man.
It's comical, man.
And I fish those too, so I see all of it too.
Yeah.
It's crazy how somebody's always gonna try to cheat.
Why?
Sure.
Why? I mean, the
There's money involved. Somebody's gonna cheat.
Yeah. If that's why you're doing it, if that's why you're doing it. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. That it's the wrong reason, man. Because a really good tournament angler, you know what I mean, may break even on his expenses and what he's bringing in. You know what I mean? You're never going to make a living now. I mean, listen, it happens, but it's few and far between, man. And if that's your mindset going into it, and you spend more time strategizing about how to work around the rules than you do on how to actually be productive and get on fish and make yourself a better angler
and figure it out.
Yeah. So crazy.
That is crazy. And we're not quite there. Some of our events aren't quite there, like the bass side with the entry fees and a little more sponsorship dollars. The Bassmaster Kayak Championship Series is going on right now in South Carolina, and they're fishing for I think the entry fee is $400. Sorry, $400 is right at 100 people, so that's $40,000 in the pot. First place going to take home $25,000 at least.
Man, that's
some of them bigger events are like that. The Hobie Bass Open Series is sold out. Every trail they've done so far opened up. They're taking home some major money.
They sell out quick
doing
too.
That,
you gotta
and
move
it's
fast.
Yeah, you got to move fast on those. I want to make a couple of them, but man, I'm trying to pick and choose my events. I got a lot of saltwater stuff too, so it's like, man, I got to make some bass events and figure them all out. But it's fun as long as I just get to fish some. I don't know how many I got this year. It's quite a few. My wife's going to kill me, but it's okay.
That's funny. But I think we're all in the same boat at some time or other, with that.
Yeah, for sure, man. You can get in some deep water. So, all right, what are we going to talk about now? Let's talk about motors.
Yep.
Motors.
Tool
to be utilized or laziness.
Right. I can join in on this conversation as of today, since I just picked up my motor today. Here's my perspective on it. This is just my opinion. It's an innovation. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you catch fish, but it does help you be able to fish more, right? If you will, and I get the perspective to say, well, you're in a kayak. Why do you need a motor? Well, I'm not a kayaker. I'm a kayak angler. There's a difference. There's kayakers that have touring kayaks and they do it for cardio. If you put a motor on that makes no sense. But if you're a kayak angler, your whole goal is to spend as much time as possible fishing, right?
Yes.
And I believe that that's an innovation and a tool that can help you not catch more fish, but allow you to fish longer. And look at it.
Bingo.
Look at all the advancement. And here, look at all the advancements, all the innovations that are out there, from trolling motors to, they all come from us kayakers being DIY guys. Like,
Yes.
some guy figured out a way to mount a trolling lotor. Look at the stakeout pole versus the micro anchor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just allows you to fish for it. You don't have to pull the rope and get over to the thing and twist it out and pull it out. And live wells, those that fish with shrimp. How many people you see nowadays, they have the live well thrown over to the side of their kayak and they're paddling and dragging that thing, when you can get either make your own DIY live well or go buy one. The companies now make them. It's all things to allow you to fish more and be more efficient. So I'm all for it. I don't believe it's a lazy thing.
Right.
That's just my
like
perspective.
You said, you're not a kayak touring paddler, you're a kayak angler, and that's the thing. And that's what happened when it progressed to pedal drives. They got the same flack. Oh, get you back here in a second. Just come back in. Yeah, they get the same flack from that going on. So talking about that, it's just to keep it going. And sorry, we lost him there. We're going to get him to jump back in, and we'll have that taken care of here in a second. Sorry about that, everybody. Just seemed to lost Kevin right there. But we'll get you going back here in a second. But yeah, talking about motors and everything, that's how it was with the pedal drives came out. They got flack also, and that's how it was. It's like one of them deals, oh, them guys have got pedals now. Them guys got pedals now. Same deal.
Yep, absolutely.
Right on. Yeah, it is a tool. It's a tool in my arsenal. More time that lure spins in the water, the more time I'm going to have it in front of a fish. There's a possible chance that it's going to be in front of a fish, and I'm going to find something that I might not have seen.
Yeah.
I do like sight casting. I like looking for blow ups or shrimp popping out of the water or wakes or something like that. But I'm casting. Dude, I'm casting, especially on flats with potholes. I'm casting.
Yeah, that's my favorite style.
I'm wearing my damn arm out.
Yeah, my favorite style of fishing is those sand pockets and grass flats. Drifting for miles and miles. But But yeah, I'll let you know, man. I may not like having this motor, you know what I mean? But I'm excited to try it out and see, you know what I mean? And like I said, I hope it allows me to keep that line in the water more often. And I'm not, I know some people can say I don't cast unless I see a fish. I don't ever blind cast. I'm not that guy. I can't. No. I cast as much as possible. Right?
Yep.
It's simple math. The more that line's in the water, the better chances you have of hooking up. So.
And while I'm casting, I'm looking at other stuff too. While I'm casting and looking, moving.
I'm going through my video from last year. And it's crazy looking at the faces that we make and how our heads on
oh yeah
and noise. You hear a faint noise on the video and you see you looking around and it's almost kind of like you're schizo,
oh yeah, like ADHD, adult
exactly.
ADHD. I probably have that already anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it's a tool of the trade.
Yep.
You hit the nail on the head. Saying kayak angler, that says it all right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a recreational kayaker paddling around everywhere. Yep. Kayak angler. The more time that lure's in the water, the more chance it has to.
Those innovations make sense.
Fish on it. Sure does. Just like with the electronics, got live scope now, 360 view.
Yep.
All that good stuff. Your video game fishing basically. With the live scope. That's on my list to add for my bass tournaments. I'm kind of behind the curve on that, but I'm gonna hope to get that here.
I'm willing to bet there was a time before when Google Earth and all that just came out. Some guys were like, "Man, that's cheating. You got to get out on the water and go find your spots by just covering water." Now you're cheating and going in, looking at an app and finding them on there. It's like, I'm sure that was and now it's just commonplace. You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's normal. So,
but there's still a lot of people out there that don't realize that how many tools are out there for them.
Yep.
So you get people, on some of these kayak fishing groups and all that, like, well, hey, where can I do? And I want to go fish this area and look, and then you'll see like quite a few people posting like screenshots of Google Earth and maps and like, hey, you need to fish here and go check this and this and this and look at all these launches are right here.
Yep.
And it's just like, I mean, it's just like everybody going and following YouTube people,
Right.
paying for their Patreon to get their freaking fish catch freaking spots.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right, don't throw me on the tangent. I'm about to go off on it.
Yeah, I won't get you started. There's not enough hours left.
You know, I'm very opinionated on that. I don't like feeding with a spoon. I don't like being spoon fed.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a time and place where you show people or go hire a guide.
Yep.
That way, go hire freaking Jared Isley or Phil Spencer or Justin from Clean Fun Fishing.
Yep.
There's a bunch of people out there. Kenneth Yetter, who you're going to fish with him this year in the team series, aren't you? I already got
excited.
that.
I'm excited, man.
But yeah, go hire a guide. Put in some work. Put in time on the water. Even if you're just a weekend warrior, that's still, there's so much more satisfaction in going out and figuring stuff out on your own than paying for somebody's spots on an app.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole to everybody that's listening, but it's my opinion,
Yeah, we all got our opinions, man. Listen, I respect the hustle, right? And whatever you got to do, but and everyone's different, same like with the, I have a mad respect for the purists, right? The guys that I paddle, you talked about Phil Spencer, man. He's a paddler, man. He's no pedal, like he's solid, man. A phenomenal angler, and I have so much respect for. And that's your choice, whatever path you choose to get into the sport. I really just get into the
Dean
sport.
Thomas,
man.
same
Try
way. Dean Thomas, freaking solid angler, guides. Y'all hit him up. Slow ride guide service, brings path.
But there's so many people that you can create your own style and do your own thing, whatever to get you into the sport. You know what I mean? But to each their own. You know what I mean? It's not for me. I know it's not for you, but but man, just give it a shot, man. Get out on the water and see what you can do. So
for sure. Anything else, motor wise? Just
man,
you get to try yours out and check it out. What'd you get?
So I got the Newport vessels, NK180S, I think is what it is. I haven't tried it out. The crew over there at Fin Factory, Captain Mike, he's been on your show before. He was helping me get that thing rigged out, man. We've been kind of FaceTiming and going back and forth, and I was in the market for a long time, shopping for some batteries, because it's a new venture. Right? It's completely foreign land for me, so I'm trying to figure out, how I want to go about it. I talked to you a bunch. Me and you met up, and I'm sitting there just looking at your setup and figuring out, okay, I like this, I'm going to do this, and you're going to laugh when you see my setup. It's pretty similar to what you were running on that Jackson. You know what I mean? But I'm excited, man. I want to check it out. Hopefully I can get out on the water. Actually, me and Kenneth are going to try to catch up this weekend at some point and get ready for, just get familiar with one another, in our fishing styles and strengths and weaknesses. But I'm excited for that. I want to try it out. And like I said, I may love it, I may hate it, you know what I mean? But I'm going to give it a good run and see what comes of it. I'm excited for seems like the Newport Vessels is kind of the newer name and, new kid on the block, at least around our market, right? I'm sure in other areas of the country, they may be more prevalent, but I'm excited to see what it does. And I'm all set up with my battery and everything. And I'll give you feedback. Hopefully I can put some stuff on social media about it,
There you go. Shoot, yeah. You got anything else going on? Any trips you want to make, go catch some different type of fish anywhere, some kind of like bucket list kayak trip or something,
Man, for me, I want to catch the fish with three tails. I want a triple tail. Man.
You're gonna have that motor. We're gonna catch some days this summer and we're gonna do it.
That's my goal, man. I got some spots over here we could launch. Because you don't see a lot of people,
areas.
So you don't see a lot of people, down here in where the waters that we fish, right? At least I don't, but they're not as prevalent. I want to catch one of those. I want to experience that, and of course, tarpon. I'd love to catch a tarpon. We've got some great people on that I fish with on my fishing team that, Mario's a, is always out there catching those tarpon out from the jetties.
Yeah, he's out there walking the rocks, getting some good ones too. On the jetties and stuff we have access to here on the coast.
Definitely want to get one of them the big silver girls, but man, that triple tail, that's something I've always wanted to catch, and I will one of these days, so if you know a spot, I'll buy you lunch.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I've gotten lucky. I was fishing. I took my kayak to a spot and was waiting and pulling my kayak behind me on the tether. I had my kayak tethered to me, and I caught one waiting.
Really?
That big. It's about 8 pounds. But I do have some. I fished out of a boat for him quite a bit. One of my buddies here used to work with me. He retired and moved back to Georgia, but he was a really well-known triple tail guide.
Okay.
And he showed me some tricks and tips, and then my other friend I work with still fishes for him quite a bit, and we kind of know some techniques for him. It's pretty good. Just a matter of catching the right days. In the summer, water needs to be over 70 degrees.
Yep.
Need some flat conditions. I definitely rather do it with a buddy system, because of the boat traffic. You'll be in some deeper water and all that stuff too. So structure is definitely key.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's do it, man.
So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this summer. We're gonna go get us one. Yeah.
Perfect. Stay tuned to social media. Me and Dustin posting, holding up some triple tail.
Oh, and they're a mighty fine table fare too. They're delicious. They're the crappie of the saltwater bay. Crappie of the bay for real.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's
good stuff, man. They fight. Oh man, they fight. Oh my goodness.
Yep, that's what I hear.
Super strong.
I'm going off everything I'm hearing and seeing. You know what I mean? Like I said, I want to experience it, right? I want to be able to tell that story. And I guess I've been hiding under a rock. I didn't even know they had triple tail guides or guides that's focused on triple tail. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And really that's it, man. I'm not one of those guys that's, I don't need to go to Panama and do any kind of crazy things like that. I travel enough, and I've been around the world. I think I'd be happy with just landing me a triple tail. You know what I mean?
Triple tail would be nice, and then just in the last month or so, out in Navarre and Pensacola, they were on the tuna like crazy over there.
Yeah, a lot
that would be fun. They got a lot of reef structure they put in, and then go over there and fish with Brian Nelly at Pushing Waters Kayak Charters in South Florida.
Yep.
He's been on some solid sailfish too, man. It's just like, dang, I need to get him back on. He did win the Sailfish Smackdown last month before last at the end of January.
That's got to be an adrenaline rush, man. That's got to be like you
think about Castro catching that one off of Corpus. That's a freaking once in a lifetime thing right there.
If you're not watching
this area,
if you're not watching the video of him doing that and hooping and hollering and pumping your fist watching that video, you're not even there. You know what I mean? I'm questioning whether you're an angler, because I for me, right, that adrenaline has to be next level, man. That's peel and drag and having a redfish is one thing, but man, being on a sail, and having that fight out there, that's got to be awesome. Man. That's got to be awesome.
Dang, dude. Well, dang, man, we're running up on here almost close to an hour. Man, dude, I've been wanting to have you on for a while, and I was like, man, I'm gonna reach out to Kevin and get him on the show, because I know we talk and we fished a few times. I was like, man, I'm a big fan of the podcast, man. I just listen to y'all this and that. I'm like, man, that's awesome, man.
Dude, I get
stoked when people say, oh man, it's good that people actually listen to this thing.
Nah, hey, listen, man. Shoot, me and you ran into each other at the gas station at 4 a.m. or whatever time it was. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the road. I'll leave my house. It's a good healthy 3+ hours for me to hit the water, and I'm out almost every weekend, and I'm leaving at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and that's a lot of windshield time, man. So I appreciate these podcasts. I appreciate what you do. Paddle and Fin. You guys have so many different options. There's Drew and Chris. All these podcasts that are out there. You guys help keep me between the lines when I'm driving, because that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it is. It is.
I appreciate what y'all do. I love the content. What's, in my opinion, what's better if you're not able to be fishing and on the water fishing. Let me listen to a bunch of dudes that fish and get some tips and some insights. And keeps me awake and keeps me going. And I save the episodes. You'll put a deal out that we release this episode, and I'll hold on to it till I'll catch it on Saturday.
There you go.
At 3 a.m. But I appreciate what you do, man. You guys are definitely along for the journey.
Man. Well, shoot, man, I'm looking forward to fishing with you here soon and seeing you at some tournaments.
Yeah.
Look like I might see you next on
Next
the
week?
12th for the Saltwater Survival Series event, the
Let's
Redfish
do it.
event.
Let's do it, man.
I'm looking to fish that one as long as they don't throw me under the bus at work and tell me I can't have a day off. But I got something up my sleeve if they try to do that.
I got a guest room if you need a place to crash or whatnot. But that'd be awesome if you could make it up for that. Should be fun, man. I've never fished Tony Keel. I never fished his
Tony
tournament.
and Nicholas and,
Yep.
and Hayes,
Yep.
Daniel.
Daniels, I'm excited for it, man. It's going to be
It's a good time. They put on a great event, lots of sponsor support, pretty good stuff. Yeah, good times for sure. It's just the March redfish tournament's kind of tough for me, so I'm going in. Probably be fishing that one blind too. I'm just going to have to go figure something out. We'll see what happens. I kind of know where some fish are at right now. If they stay there, is a different story.
You're a natural, man. You can catch a fish anywhere. Just drop you off somewhere, man. You'll catch a fish, man.
I'm probably going to go after the trout pot.
Yeah. Well, that's a tricky thing about this tournament, right? Because it's a target species each stop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're not the ideal time to fish for some of these species, right?
Right.
So if you moved it around, it seemed a little easier. But man, that's what makes it fun, right? That's where that strategy.
Oh no,
comes
that's what
play.
makes it a challenge. And before, when this tournament first started out, everybody got the same box of lures.
Yep.
And that's all you could fish with. Just bring terminal tackle.
Yep.
And then the lures, the plastics that got you, or rip bait, or it's top water, or something like that along those lines, like a pop and cork and a shrimp.
Yep. That's great, man. That's
pretty
unique.
cool. But they kind of progressed over the years and just said, okay, you use any bait you want. But they still call it the Saltwater Survival Series because its first event's a redfish event, second event's a trout event, a third event's a flounder event. So you got to do well in all three of those and win Angler of the Year. And normally I don't have time left in the end of the year, and I either fish one or two, or that's about it. I'm really gonna try to make all three this year and make a good showing, I hope. So
it'd be awesome if you can make it up.
Some good stuff. Check them out, Saltwater Survival Series online. Just hit it in the Google search bar and you can pull it up. All right, man. Well, we're running into the end of this thing right here. I want to give you the stage and wrap it up. Any shout outs or sponsor plugs, and then go for it, brother.
Yeah, man. So sponsors and support, man, 100% without a doubt, my biggest cheering section. I cannot do any of this without the support of my family, man. My family is like, to be in all honesty, I fish way more than I deserve to fish. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm given permission. Like, these guys fully support me. They encourage me that, when I'm excited and nervous about tournaments, they're excited and nervous. As long as I'm safe, you know what I mean? I send them the drop pin of where I launch in the mornings. You know what I mean? They're always going to encourage it. So first and foremost, I love the fact I'm very blessed to have the family supporting me, for sure. On the business side of the business, sponsors and stuff, Hoodoo Sports, man, I can't say enough about Hoodoo Sports. The guys up here in Cyprus, man, it just, they really take care of me. This is my second year fishing for them, and Hoodoo Sports is a kayak company. They've got accessories, and if you want to get out on a kayak and not break the bank, whether you want a river kayak or a pedal driven or even a skiff or a paddleboard, they've got so many different options. But they've been good to me, man, and having only been a company since 2019, they've made a pretty good mark on this area, at least, with getting their name out there. And I'm excited to see I think they've only scratched the surface. There's some exciting stuff coming in the future, and I'm just happy to be a part of those guys. Fin Factory Kayak and Tackle, Captain Mike Morales and his entire team, right? His family and his entire team. I've known them for years, and I've unofficially, I think I felt like a pro staff guy or fishing team guy even before I was even on with, they just have that feeling. You go into their shop and there's just people hanging out, and if you didn't know, you would think there was 10 employees, but there's 2 employees and all the rest are just customers hanging out and talking fishing, but they've been really good to me. They've got their flagship store in Corpus Christi, Texas, and then the one down in the valley in Mission.
A new store there too.
Yeah, new store up in San Antonio, man. So and you know, it doesn't matter which store you walk in, you get that same service. And they've been good for me, man. Good people, for sure. But yeah, man. And then I guess recently, Amp Power Sure batteries. I had the mindset that all batteries are the same, man. I don't know anything about batteries. I'm not a battery guy. They're all the same. But I got to meet the owner of Amp Power Sure, Michael, and he is a battery dude. If you want to know about batteries and hear like what the difference is in his and talk about, break it down and get scientific, he's a guy to talk to. And he's been very, supportive of the industry. So I'm excited to partner with him. The new motor I got, running their 24 volt, 50 amp hour, Empower Sure, battery. I got their 10 amp hour. So I'm excited for that. But no, man. And just last, I just want to thank you, man. As a competitor and always being so willing to share, I have a firm belief, man, that the strongest fabric of the kayaking community is the kayak anglers, man. It's us, it's you guys. We determine what the vibe is going to be like, and and right behind us is all these companies and sponsors. So I appreciate what you do. I appreciate everybody that I compete against. All you guys, the Matt Murphys and the Davids and the Chris and Poco and Gene, and all you guys are always so willing to share. And that's inviting to somebody from the outside that wants to come fish these tournaments and maybe a little, reluctant or hesitant. Man, just give it a shot, man. I think we're doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job representing and truly being ambassadors. And I think others should experience that and give it a shot. So I appreciate you. And thanks for having me on, man.
Shoot, yeah, man. That's what I appreciate the guys at Paddle and Fin, bringing me on, going on almost 3 years.
Yeah. You do a great
Bring me
job.
on, and providing a platform to get, guys like yourself out there, maybe get a little more reach, gain a little more traction, because things heard in quite a few places. And I mainly appreciate the listeners too, big time.
Absolutely.
Without them, we wouldn't have this platform. So that's what's pretty cool about this whole podcast thing. I was like, man, I didn't ever think about it, got brought on as a guest and just was like, why don't you do one for saltwater kayak fishing? I was like, all right, I think I can do that. I think I can run my mouth for an hour or so without shutting up. So yeah, it's all good. I'm pretty opinionated at times, but yeah, that's all about it. Everybody, just like you said earlier, to each their own, everybody's got different opinions. It's all good. We all come together in the end and have a good old time. That's all that matters.
Amen.
Right there.
Amen.
But man, stoked to have you on, brother. I hope to see you in a couple weeks. And then, thanks for everybody tuning in. Chasing the Title, the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Look at that. I'm gonna stumble at the end. Yeah, Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Thanks for everybody checking us out. Go give us a like, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to that and get notified on all our updates when our new stuff comes out. And then we'll catch you on the next one. See y'all next time.